Welcome to Morenci First. We're so glad you're here. Thanks for watching this week's message. If you would like more information about Morenci First, such as service times or ministry opportunities, feel free to check out facebook.com/MorenziAG or Morenci First at youtube.com. And two great ways to stay connected throughout the week is by hitting the subscribe button on our YouTube page. That way you'll be notified when something new is posted. And by hitting like on our Facebook page. Thanks again for joining us today. Welcome home.
I'm so excited about sharing with you what we're going to share with you. I almost feel like I'm at the Oscars, and y'all want a brand new car, kind of thing. So I really am that excited because I have felt for quite a while now that the Lord has been kind of changing our course a little bit and our path a little bit and wanting to write a new chapter and things that he's wanting to do. And I believe what we're going to share with you will make you as excited as it makes me. But I also believe it's going to be revolutionary to our church. I believe it's going to offer so many opportunities for us not only to minister to our community, but us to meet you where you are. One of the greatest strengths of Morenci First is not only our diversity and culture and people and whatever else, but our desire to know Jesus and our desire to share him with everyone else. And you can clap at that. That's okay. That is our desire. And you don't even have your mic on. What are you doing? You just standing there staring at me. She's waiting for the new car.
Well, I'm not talking yet.
We may actually get done with this sometime soon. But anyway, I've just felt for a while that the Lord was kind of leading us in a different direction, that to meet us where we were and to offer something that would kind of come in and take the place of where we are and kind of take us to a different direction. And so that's what we're going to share with you right now. Are you going to say something over there?
I was being nice and not interrupting.
Oh.
But good morning. Good morning. First of all, I was going to hold it in, but I'm not going to probably. So I'm not the only one who preaches for a long time. So when you're like, oh, we might actually get done at a good time, because I'm not talking. I'm not the only one who talks for a long time. So we are super excited to share this, and really just, y'all aren't getting new cars, though, just to clarify, but we are really, really excited. And
Sorry.
They're probably just wondering if you're going to tell them, but
I don't know. I thought we'd drag it out to the end of the service. Anyway, again, I want to stress this, importantly, and I think you'll understand in a minute. One of our greatest strengths as a church is not only our diversity, but also, our willingness to reach out to others and to meet people where they are. And, I've loved our. What are you doing?
He has some lint. It's a wife thing. Okay, go ahead. I'll try to restrain myself. Go ahead. He was complaining I wasn't doing anything, right? He said I wasn't doing anything.
I don't know if they're laughing with us or at us. I don't know where we're at.
Just finish. Now I'm done.
Okay, Lord have mercy. Anyway, I've extremely loved our men's. I've extremely loved our men's and our ladies' classes, and I know that they have been so beneficial and they have been so much of a blessing to you. And there's nothing, so special to come together as men and ladies and worship God and learn together. But at the same time, as excited and as beneficial as they were, I've also had in the back of my mind that, yes, I love these classes, but these only two specialized classes that we're offering, is really, it's missing a gap, and it's missing quite a few people that it's not able to minister to. And I kind of began to get on this journey of, okay, how can we develop a system that not only ministers to our men and our women, but ministers to everybody? How can we develop a system that will take into account everyone and to minister to our families and also be something that is exciting to our community and something that we can look at as far as interest, and we can look at as far as, okay, this is what our congregation is going through, and instead of having our hands tied, we can say, you know what, if this is what we're going through, we can have a class on that, or we can talk about that, or we can do something about that. So I kind of went on this journey and began to pray and began to ask God, okay, God, can you what's a system where we can meet everyone, where we can touch everyone, where we can have the flexibility to offer and meet the needs of everyone out here, of everyone we're dealing with. And I am fully convinced that we have found that, and God has given that unto us. And I'm just overwhelmed by that, because the greatest desire of me as a pastor, of your staff, of us as a church, is we want to be available to you. We want to answer questions that you're asking. We want to help your family along its journey. We want to be able to say, okay, if we have a need in this area, we can meet that need. So we're excited to announce that we're changing the systems of the way we're doing our class. We're calling them Morenci First Crews. And so why don't you tell us what a Morenci First Crew is? Because they're tired of hearing me talk for a minute.
Okay. All right. So a crew is what you might hear referred to as kind of a small group. But he's going to kind of explain how we want our church to function with that. But a crew is going to kind of be, you mean as far as the 6 week, as far as the format?
Yeah, all of it.
All of it?
Right
Okay.
there, yes.
All right. He's going to give me the hard
Down
part.
the note.
Okay. All right. So crews will last for about 6 weeks, sometimes 8 weeks, but usually 6 weeks. You'll have a month to sign up, and then they will last for that 6 weeks, and then you'll have another month to sign up. So the months in between, we know that, especially in our community, it's hard sometimes to make a long-term commitment to a class, and that's the beauty of this format, because we know that schedules change. You guys, especially with the mind, your schedule can change. But also, if you have kids, sometimes their sports, one sport ends, another sport starts. Our girls, they play several sports. So, one ends, another starts. And so the days change and the times change and everything. So this allows you only have to make a commitment for 6 weeks at a time. And then you have that month in between where you aren't committed to a class, and you are able to think about, what's the next commitment I want to make. So it'll be 6 weeks that you're in a class, and then we'll advertise the next class for a month. You have a month to sign up, and then the next crew will start. There'll be different classes, so I'll let you just explain what the first classes are going to be.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want me to?
Okay, we're right here.
Where?
Right there.
Okay, all right. I'll try to back up a little bit. I was going to do it in a little bit of different order.
Fine, but we're just trying to, some things that
All
we're
right,
trying to explain
all right.
here.
So, but the main kind of purpose, I guess, of a crew, in addition to the awesome teaching that you will go through and receive, is the people that you're in the crew with. You will be able to get to know each other better, have a relationship with those people. you'll get to pray for each other. You'll get to support each other. You'll meet people that maybe, you don't normally talk to on Sunday morning, that you don't normally talk to at work or school or, whatever, that you haven't come into contact with as much before. Or maybe you've said hi at church, but you've never really gotten to have an in-depth conversation, and certainly maybe never had an in-depth conversation about what's going on in your life or Bible passages or what God's teaching you. So it's a really, really good way to get to know people on a more personal level and to learn from each other. And because the cruise only lasts 6 weeks, and then you move to a different crew, you're actually getting to know everyone in the church and not just the same people. And that's why we like this format better than a small group format where you maybe choose a small group based upon, what street you live on or how old you are or, just what small group you want to sign up for, and then you stay in that small group forever. You're constantly changing every 6 weeks. So you'll end up being with some of the same people, or you're not with the same people, but then you're with the same people later on. But you really get to know everyone in the church, and we love that.
Well, what I really love about the new system is not only is it a place that we come together and pray together and support one another, but they're specialized classes chosen by your staff to meet our church's specific needs of where we feel like our church is at that moment. They're precisely handpicked for us. So, they're not just something where you're coming and dwelling and you're just, going through. They're specifically designed, for you. So how do they work? So they are, kind of multiple classes will be offered at a time or on multiple subjects that will last, again, 6 weeks. After the 6 week class, we'll have a cycle where you'll sign up for your next offering. Don't worry if the classes are going really well and super exciting and we feel like there's a great push, we might offer the same class again. But again, they're handpicked for you to minister to our people, and they're an opportunity. Classes will be, limited to 20 people. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, but you may wonder, why is that so important to you? And that's kind of where I want to get across is there are so many things that I believe it opens up. Number one, it opens up a variety. And, it opens up such a variety that every 6 weeks you will have a new opportunity to grow in your faith. You'll have a new opportunity to step into a new class. You'll have a new opportunity to learn something new. You'll also have a new opportunity, and we as a church will have a new opportunity to offer what we feel like will be beneficial to you and our congregation. So every 6 weeks, you'll have a new opportunity. It's a variety. It's also, will allow us to offer a class on any subject. Isn't that awesome? On any subject that will be relevant to us. Any subject that will be relevant to us. And not just any subject, but one day, an interest. It can expand. What God is going to do is going to expand. And who knows where he's going to take us. But a variety there is just so important. And then, on top of a variety, we also have a doable commitment, and she's already kind of touched on that. But, a 6 week commitment, sometimes we feel like we can't commit to this class or we can't commit to this area, but we can say, hey, I can handle 6 weeks.
Right. Okay, I want to talk again.
All right.
Okay.
Of course you do.
So, yes. Well, you wanted me to before. Okay, so let me back up a little bit just to maybe lay a foundation so you're not kind of wondering, okay, how does this start or work? So some of you know, or maybe most of you know, that we've been doing youth group on Thursday nights. So Pastor will continue with that. And then there's going to be some teachers that will do the first, that will do the cruise, and he'll explain that in a few minutes, or we'll explain that in a few minutes. But so he'll continue doing youth group on Thursday nights, and then there'll be several crew leaders, right?
Yes.
And it'll be Thursday nights. And it will be, one of the great things about cruise is we are very committed to respecting your time. We know it's on a weekday. We know you have to work the next day. Your kids have to go to school. So they'll start at 6:30, and you'll be guaranteed to get out by 7:45. Is that
Yes.
correct? So it's an hour and 15 minutes. We hope that makes it easier for you to attend. An hour and 15 minutes.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. An hour and 15 minutes. We hope that makes it easier for you to attend. But so there'll be Thursday nights. In the future, you know, if it looks like maybe like if as we continue to grow, because we know that our church is going to keep growing, as we continue to grow, you know, other nights or times might be offered, but for now it'll be Thursday nights from 6:30 to 7:45, and it'll be that 6-week cycle, you know, and so you'll sign up, you'll do 6 weeks, and then you'll have that 4 weeks off. So that's kind of how we'll start. And so Pastor won't be doing the Acts 29 class anymore that he was doing before. And there won't be women's and men's ministries as you know it. Instead, and this is kind of, and you'll probably maybe talk about this more in depth, but we really want you to embrace something. We feel very led to be a church of small groups, not a church that has small groups, okay? And it's kind of hard to explain that before we get started with this, but once we're doing this, we think that you'll see what we mean. But everything that we do will now fit into this concept. So, like, instead of having crews and then, oh, we have a class over here, or women's and ministries over here, women's and men's ministries, no, it will literally be one of the crews. So we will have women's, can I go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll be taking the ladies, like the ladies will meet every 3 months. We will have a women's crew that meets every 3 months, and we will just literally like have fun. I mean, it will just simply be like social time. I mean, I may throw in a little devotion or whatever, but it's really going to be just for the purpose of relationship building and having fun together. So we might go to Starbucks, we might go out to dinner or out to lunch, but it won't always be something that costs money. We might make sugar scrub here at the church. We might have a free paint night. We might just, do whatever. I mean, we might just bring whatever craft you guys want to work on, or if somebody knows how to do something and wants to teach everybody else, So I'll be doing that every 3 months. And then Jerry is going to be doing something with the men, Pastor Jerry, every 3 months. So like a cookout, or he might do, I forget what other ideas that he came up with.
Just a men's breakfast.
Yeah, like
whatever,
a men's
just a bunch of different
breakfast
things.
or something like that.
Just getting the men together.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. So
The flexibility with that, and
Right.
then Pastor Rudy is going to actually start getting our seniors together, and they're going to start meeting once a month, and they're anything from a senior lunch to breakfast to whatever.
Right.
See, the cool thing about this is not only is it the variety, but it's a doable commitment, but it's also allows us to have community that we talked about, that we can come together, but it also gives us flexibility as a church, where not only can we meet you spiritually or meet different needs or whatever may come up, but it also allows us the flexibility to start having gatherings, with men's, so we don't have something every night of the week and just, but everything's structured of where we know where we're going, we can meet your needs, and then we can actually have the flexibility to let things grow and change, and we're looking forward to having cookouts and fellowships and I mean, you may say, well, that's not spiritual. Well, you know what? When men come together and we honor Jesus, it's very spiritual.
Right. Well, and Jesus hung out with his disciples.
So.
I mean, that's what he did. I mean, most of the time that he was ministering, he was literally ministering within the context of relationships,
Right,
and building relationships, and
absolutely.
Look at how he hung out with Mary and Martha, and he literally just, he was building relationships and spending time.
So kind of the bottom line, instead of
I'm sorry, and then
one more.
Yeah, Pastor Rudy and Pastor Ernie are going to be taking the seniors once a month.
I just said that.
Oh, did you? I'm
yes.
sorry.
You can say it again. They're
gonna be doing a
seniors.
senior lunch.
Maybe their hearing aids weren't up enough. So go ahead.
I might be a senior. But I'm losing my memory. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so they're going to be doing that.
Maybe she's a senior too.
That's what I'm saying. I might be a senior. Yeah.
But
seniors might have better memory than I do.
Anyway, the flexibility, instead of us as a church being limited to men's and women's ministries, and that's it. Now we have the opportunity, to offer classes that will be on subjects of interest in every person that attends our church and in our community. More flexibility as our church, more flexibility in classes, just more flexibility. And I'm super excited about that because, as you know, we have more needs and our families are going through more things than just, a singular event. And now we can meet those needs. We can offer things. But we're also not going to get stuck in a rut because every 6 weeks, we're going to have something new and fresh that you're going to be able to go to. But it's also great for our staff because they get a whole month to prepare for their class. They get a whole month. Everything is, so when they come in, they're prepared. They're ready to go. We're going to honor the time. We're going to bring you in, bring you out. But we're going to offer stuff that you're going to be excited about coming. You're going to want to be a part of, et cetera, which brings us to today, our first set of classes, and I'm super excited about our classes today. And again, they will run every Thursday from 6:30 to 7:45. And so we have a couple. Oh, you brought a book up here with you, so you want to talk about this one?
Yeah.
All right. So our first class. You just took that. Go for it.
Okay. All right. So, the YouVersion app that you guys read your Bible on? Many of you do. And we're going through the Bible plan. We do that every year. So the creator of that, the church that created that.
Life Church.
Thank you. I know the pastor's name, but I couldn't think of the church's name. So Pastor Craig Groeschel, he wrote a book called Winning the War in Your Mind that just came out this year or the end of last year. And Pastor actually went through this book.
Did. It's an and in my opinion, it's one of the best books written in the last 10 years for where we are as a culture. We found it so important that we actually took our ministers as a district, the whole state of Arizona had an opportunity to walk through the book. It really it's incredible to how to control your thoughts, how to take your thoughts captive, all that stuff that we're dealing with. It's right where we are. Anybody ever have trouble with your thoughts? Yeah, buddy. Anybody? And I'm not just throwing out the other things from depression and all that kind of stuff that we all deal with. But this is a book, it's timely. Right. Timely. And the cool thing is my wife and Pastor Ernie are going to teach it together. They're going to co-teach it together. So it's going to be cool. Yeah. It's going to be incredibly. Go ahead.
Well, and I just wanted to say, the book, it just tells you the 4 parts, what you'll learn. So part 1 will examine the battle for your mind and how you're really not alone with your thoughts. Part 2, you'll learn how your brain works and see how to rewire it. Part 3, you'll discover how to reframe your thinking and redesign your mind around new thoughts. And in part 4, you'll become equipped to identify your mental triggers and to overcome them through prayer and praise. So it's an awesome book. I feel privileged to teach it, especially with Pastor Ernie. So it's going to be an awesome time.
It is incredible, incredible. I can't say it enough. It's incredible. The next book that we're over the top excited about is called All In, and it's by Mark Batterson. And anybody that's ever done a Mark Batterson study knows that it's incredible. But basically, the whole premise of the book is, you know, he makes this statement. He says, I think a lot of people in the church invite Jesus to follow them instead of them knowing how to follow him. So if you're out there and you're kind of thinking, you know, how do I become a disciple of Jesus? What does it mean to be all in? What does it mean to follow? If you're having trouble with that kind of, it's right up your alley. It's encouraging. It's impactful. It sets you on fire. You read it and you're like, man, I can take on the world. It's like win one for the Gipper kind of thing. You know, it's incredible. So it's just one of those books that is great for walking us through tangible faith. How do I live out my faith? And I don't know about you, but how am I a Christian in the messiness? So we have, you know, we're going to deal with our thoughts and our minds and spiritual warfare, but then we're also going to deal with how do I just be a believer in today's world? How do I sell out in the midst of the craziness? How do I trust Jesus through the mess? It's incredible. Then the next class.
And Pastor Jerry.
Pastor Jerry is teaching that one.
And any Mark Batterson book, if you've never read a book by him, In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day or something like that. Yeah, any book by him is worth studying.
Yes.
Any book by Mark Batterson.
Yes. And then our final, we're offering 3 classes this time. And then our third class is taught by somebody that is just such an incredible teacher, and that's Sister Linda. Yes. She's teaching a class on essentials. Yes. And this is a class, if you're looking, if for church membership, you have to go through this class. It is what we believe. It's essentials of how to live. It's all of the essentials of being a believer. Right. And, it doesn't matter how long you've been saved. My personal preference, I'm going to try to push everybody through that class at some point or another. Because it's the essentials of every part of our being. It's essentials of how to be a believer, what we believe, why we take communion, why we tithe, why we do what we, all of that. It's going to cover it all. You know, what is it all about? Why do we water baptize somebody? What's it about? What does it mean? Doesn't that sound awesome? So, all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be 3 incredible classes, that are going to meet. And I know that they're all incredible. So you're like, well, if I sign up for this one, I'm going to miss out now. Well, we've already discussed it as a staff. We're probably going to offer a couple of these again next time because we know that you're going to want to be a part of all of it. But what we're going to do in just a couple of minutes is I have the sign-up sheets right now. We're going to have to limit it to 20 people. So we're going to set roles, and we're going to have you come down, and we're going to sign these right now. But the cool thing is my wife and I are going to come down front here, and you're like, I don't really know what class would be right for me. Well, that's great because we've been praying, we've been thinking about it. We're going to help you pick it out. So come down and say, hey, I don't know what class would be right for me. Well, we're going to get you plugged in somewhere. So our goal is to fill it up and let God begin to mold us, shape us, and change us. Because I don't know about you, but we're all dealing with things in our mind. We're all dealing with messiness of our faith. And some of us have questions. Why do we do this? What does this mean? What does it mean to be, this kind of a church? Or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, what?
Well, I was just going to say, and one thing that we forgot to explain is the classes will always be limited to 20 people.
Yes.
Because research has shown that is the number that you should cut it off at in order for you guys to benefit the most from the class. It enables you guys to be able to ask questions, be able to discuss, be able to actually form relationships with one another. There's actually a lot of research to show, how small the class should be allowed to get and how big the class should be allowed to get.
Well, just think about it this way. You've been in a class before when there's 3 or 4 people and the teacher's trying to drag someone to talk, and it drags, and you can't wait for the hour to have to be over because basically the whole class is just, it's kind of too small for that. But then you've also been in big classes where you get lost in the mix. Yeah. So these are the perfect place where conversation and questions and all that can be done, but also we're going to be a family and we're going to lift each other up and pray and all the other stuff. So you don't have to go through it with your spouse. You don't have to be in the same class. I would actually encourage you to pick a different one from your spouse. Why? To give you the freedom to talk and to say what you want to say without worrying about what's going to happen. So pick a different class, and then the next week or next 6, switch. Thought this out, So, but
he's not saying that you should totally slam your spouse in the class. But that is what it sounded like. He was just saying that, sometimes you
just got to get it excited.
He's saying that sometimes, though, you do want to, sometimes you do want to say something, and it is sometimes, nice if, I don't know. You know what we mean, So.
I would stop now. Okay, so. Some will, some will not. But if you had to miss like one night, yes, you'll be able to catch up, etc. You guys can purchase the books if you want. The all-in book is $15.99. We will make a church order if you would like. The other book is $18.99, I think it is.
What, this one?
Yeah.
This one's a little pricier. I think this one's almost.
It's $18.59.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because so it's $18.59. The other one is
But do you mean the 6-week class? Some of them will be offered again. The Essentials class for sure will be offered.
Yes. About 3 times a year, that one will be offered because it is essential.
And it's required for membership.
Yeah. So that's essential. These others, depending on how, the first 2 will be offered again the next time around because we know how important they are for our congregation. So we're hoping that everybody will just,
So you mean, so you're to clarify, you're saying this one?
And the all-in will be offered again.
So all 3 of these will be offered again?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the next time, the Essentials class will not be offered again the next 6 weeks. It'll take a break for a while. So there will be a new class on top of these 2, and then we'll go forward. And then, there may be another, time that we'll offer a class, 2 times, and then there might be all new. We don't really know. Basically, that's the beauty of this thing. Right. It's the flexibility to say, hey, this is what's going on in the lives of everybody. How can we meet that? And then our staff is going to come together and say, this is how we feel like we can. This is the best thing to meet that need. Let's do it. It'll give us an opportunity. Look, there may be a time that we might say we need a class on single mothers. There might be a time we might need a class on single. I don't know. The sky's the limit. The flexibility and the variety and the is just an amazing. We can actually meet the need. We might need a parenting class. Morenci needs a financial class. I don't know. It's like the sky's the limit. And then as it grows, the things can expand. There may be one day that we'll have a class that you have your lesson and then you guys bowl together. It'll be a bowling, crew for 6 weeks. Things can just expand as God is moving, So, who knows what is to come? Make sense? So I'm just blown away because my greatest heart, my greatest desire is for us to know Jesus well and to serve him well. I want us to be a congregation that is growing. There are so many stagnated congregations around the world that just, I don't want us to be that part. God is alive and we should be alive. Faith should be interesting. That doesn't mean it's not hard, because it is, and that doesn't mean that sometimes we don't, the flicker a little bit. But on a normal basis, we want to offer something that you're like, man, my friend would benefit from that. I'm going to invite them to come, and it'll be exciting. And you know when you come that it's still going to be the hour and 15 minutes. We're not going to drag you out to 12 o'clock at night. And you also know that it's a 6-week commitment and all the others. So it's going to benefit all the way around. I wanted a system that you can bring your friends, that if you're older and you have younger daughters, they would want to come because they would benefit. I wanted a system that would meet us where we were. A real life relevant system. So that's where we are. So what I'm going to give you like 2 minutes at the moment to begin to think in your head what you would want to do. And then what we're going to ask you to do is we're going to put these on 3 separate ends, okay? So what we're going to ask you to do, if you want to join the all-in class, we're going to have you come and kind of line up here and just start signing. If you want to join the essential class, we're going to ask you to kind of come down this aisle right here. And if you want to join the winning the battle of your mind, kind of come down that area right there. And we're going to sign these up. We're going to get it started because we know how beneficial it is. And I know that you're going to be blessed beyond compare.
February 9th.
It starts February 9th.
Yes, February 9th.
Yep, starts February 9th. You have some time. But here's the deal. We don't sign anybody. You have until, that Sunday to sign up. We don't sign up after that because, we have to keep the classes. So you have 2 more Sundays to sign up. And then the classes will be closed until they're open again. So why not just sign up today? My wife is